it changes as the music whenever you use an acceleration gate, but I'm not sure like how long it takes. It changes as the music whenever you use an acceleration gate, but I'm not sure like how long it takes. It changes as the music whenever you use an acceleration gate, but I'm not sure like how long it takes. It changes as the music whenever you use an acceleration gate, but I'm not sure like how long it takes.
Connecting. Connecting.
Hello, is this thing on? Hello, what's up, everybody? This is Kale. Oh shit, I don't want to hear that. Hold on. Hello, what's up, everybody? I don't want to have my sound pumping back to me. That's just silly. Epic failure. Okay, so what's up? This is Kale Decadence Mind Clash Podcast. You're listening to us live, or listening to me live for episode number 48, as I am co-hostless. But that's fine, because I don't need him. By the name of Burkoff. Yep, that'd be Burkoff of Skyrats. Has put out this wonderful application. It's an online 3D viewer, and you can check that out at eveonline.pvp.tools/alliance-tournament. Pretty cool stuff. He has all the games, or excuse me, all the AT matches that you've seen thus far. Has last year's AT, has the MR Championships, all that fun stuff going all the way back to Alliance Tournament number XI. That's 11 in Roman numerals. So be sure to check that out if you want to rewatch some of the matches in like a web viewer mode where you're just looking at, you know, X's, red and green or red and blue X's flying across the screen without commentary. You know, if you're doing it at work or you have a low bandwidth connection, that'd probably be a good way to watch. So make sure you check that out. Let's see, followed by, if you were watching the tournaments, I didn't notice if they did this last weekend, but this weekend, if you went to vote.eve-nt.uk, they were giving out random prizes. You'd go on there, select for the current or the next upcoming match which team you thought might win. You'd be put into, you know, a little put into the magic hat, and they would randomly select winners, somebody who select the right team, and they would give you a nice little prize. I think it was a skin, perhaps, I'm not sure, but that's pretty neat. And finally, at.webrar, that's WEBBRAR.com, which is where you can find the bracket voting. So if you started way back at the beginning of the matches and started selecting teams that you thought would advance to the next bracket, and if you've done so successfully throughout the tournament, maybe even if you didn't do it successfully through the whole thing, but if you perhaps picked a lot of winning matches, you might win something, to include a $2 billion prize that Merdad and I are giving out, or given to Jin'Taan as part of the prize pool. So if you go there, you can actually check out to see what the prizes are and at which point you could win a prize based on how many votes or how many brackets you selected properly. Speaking of our good friend Jin'Taan, good friend of the show, been on a couple times. What was that boy wearing on Saturday? The title of this episode I would like to call, in honor of him, Bling Fit Armor Tanked Jin'Taan. Yes, indeed, he's certainly Bling Fit. Let me see if I can pull up a picture of this weirdo. You'll forgive me, I don't have someone talking with me, so while I look for these things, you have to bear with me. But essentially it was mostly gold, a lot of shiny things, and as a Mr. Silent Shift in the Twitch chat that day pondered, he said, "I wonder if Jin identifies as a revelation with that fucking suit." I didn't say it, Silent Shifted, but I certainly was thinking that. That was pretty darn impressive. So if you haven't seen it already, I would recommend you check that out. Hang on while I maneuver my background, because somebody last week said that they wanted to see some moving backgrounds, so I have that going on. This is live from Jitta 44. Yes, I know, very, very dangerous. Oh, Reaper. Cute little Reaper. Rookie ship is one of my alt characters that does nothing. So, good luck hunting me. So there's your moving background. Also, if you look at the top of the screen, for those of you that are watching live or when I post it on YouTube, I've included an RSS ticker, which shows all the latest and greatest podcasts that are listed on evepodcast.com. So if you're not following evepodcast.com for some reason, and you don't know that there's other podcasts out there, you might want to check that out and find all the various podcasts that are out there. Finally, as far as news goes, and a graph was showed. Lots of graphs on graphs on graphs. But this one in particular showed the ISK lost in weekend one, to include a 5 billion ISK Vexor, which besides the Rabisu was basically the biggest loss, and that would be because he looted a Rabisu himself, picking up that loot, and was immediately popped. Whoever that was, I'm not sure. So a lot of matches we're going on this weekend. I'm going to go ahead and throw up the bracket thus far. If you stand by, and we'll kind of go over that a little bit. I don't want to go over every single match like we did last week, pretty much, because there was a lot and it was super exciting. Let me get these brackets. And if you remember, that was at.web. Oh shit, are they down? Oh, no, they are not down. That was weird. Okay, at@webbrowser.com. So let's see who's left here. Moving to the lower bracket, we've got, let's see, Hard Knocks and Hydra Reloaded, Slice and Templess Calcif. Wait, are you sure this is not today? Oh, this is today, I think. Oh, probably because I'm not logged in, so I can't see the proper stuff. I know. I'll get wrecked. I'm sure. I just saw a tweet from Magnus Carroll. He says, "Sorry, Space Bro, he's at the firehouse." No big deal, buddy. We'll catch you next time. Big window. Add. So hopefully you guys can see that. I know it's kind of fuzzy on your side. But yeah, some of those ones I just read off are already played. So that will leave us with Tuskers and Vidra, NC Dot and Exodus. The Initiative and Pen is out. Abandapart and Laserhawks. Then moving to the lower bracket. Let's see, we've got the Bastard Cartel. Let me start from the bottom. Hydra Reloaded and Salt Farmers, PL versus Slice. Brightside and Mercenary Collusion. We form Volta with Bastards. Test Alliance and Shadow Cartel. Brave on Thermodynamics, Rote Capel and Skill Yourself. Snuffed Out and the Ronin. So these are the teams that are remaining after the matches from this weekend. And as you can see, some of my predictions for next week, I don't know, we'll see. It's just based on what I saw and who I think will do good. So if you're wondering what Kale's predictions are, you'll see the little stars. That's me. I like those teams. Alright, let me close that out. So yeah, next up, let's talk a little bit about some of the things that we saw. We saw the Goon Swarm against Ronin. Um, okay, got to talk about this one. This was the first match of the morning on Saturday. If you're watching this one, it was pretty confusing. What's his nuts? Oh, Asher Elias. He was the I don't know if he was the FC for the team or what, but he was flying in. I want to say the one of the Magus on Goon Swarm's team. They had a Rattlesnake, double Strat, double Merm, double VNI, a Magus, and a Vexer. So yeah, he was flying in the Magus, and he took one of the micro jump units out of boundary, and then immediately every single team member on the Goon side boundary. They took an MJU or just went straight out of the arena. So not sure what that was about, but they committed a little seppuku. Not very honorable if you ask me, but it is what it is. Next match was Must Be Jelly versus End of Life. That one ended with End of Life taking the wind. Pretty much every match we were watching was heavy drone comp. A lot of the Dominixes, like you saw on Must Be Jelly, were smart bombing Dominix, which I mean it worked out pretty good for a lot of teams, but not for Jelly. All of followed by Skill and Spectre. Skill took Spectre out. Not much really exciting to report on that. Followed by Of Sound Mind versus Thermodynamics. Looking at a little bit different comp. They had Basilisk, double Orthrus, Gila, double Serb, two Navy Osprey, a Stork, and a Caracal. I think this is the first time that I'd seen a Caracal on the matches that day, with Thermo having two Armageddons and Oneros, double Brutix, Pontifex, Vengeance, Vexer, Purifier, and a Daredevil. Same thing, you pretty much saw Daredevil get popped immediately, and then one by one, it was Thermodynamics taking down the Of Sound Mind teams. Not too shabby. I'm just going to go real quick. Fraternity took Hull Control. Not much fancy there. Shadow Cartel took We Want Your ISK. Where is the fun stuff? Fun stuff. Oh, the Bastards versus United Federation of Conifers. See, during the first half of the day on Saturday, I was taking fairly good notes as far as what ships were where and some of the goings on, but it wasn't until later in the day that I actually started going like ship by ship, like this ship went down, this ship went down, this ship went down. I kind of like did a pretty good analysis there on the first day. Let's see. Okay, so this was a pretty good match. Let's see, Federation keeping its hounds and daredevils near the back of the formation to start out with. Let's see, Bastards Hyena was next target for Federation. Let's see. Oh, this was Darius Caliente. Darius Caliente is a fairly well-known FC. He went down in the first Brutix on Bastards' side, but it pretty much came down to like one of the last few seconds. It was the Myrmidon. Let's see. Yeah, the Myrmidon was the lone survivor, I believe, with the Megathron, and it went down with just a few seconds left on there. So that gave Bastards a win, which put him up into the next match from yesterday, which was even better. PFR and Clown Car, another good match. Nothing too crazy with them, followed by Solar Fleet and MC. This is where I actually started writing down what ships were lost and when, but it came down to Solar Fleet lost pretty much everything except for their one Navy Megathron and a VNI, whereas MC, decked out in all Exoplanet Hunter skins, held on pretty tight. They didn't lose their flagship, good for them. Yeah, they had a pretty good, from what I understood, they had a cap chain going on between the Balgorn, Orneros, and I believe the Navy Harbingers. So that Balgorn was hanging real tight and doing quite well towards the end. Next up, Purple Helmeted Warriors. Now this one I have um, very interesting. Purple Helmeted Warriors lost their Balgorn, which is one of their flagships, or their flagship, which they lost, which so far was the most expensive loss next to Waffles Rabisu. This was 13,858,798,239 isks. And actually, they showed up a breakdown of that ship afterwards. So let's just go over this bad little boy. In the highs, they had 4 Mega Pulse Laser 2s, an Armen's Modified Large EMP Smart Bomb, Corpus X-Type Heavy Energy Neutralizer, Draclera's Modified Heavy Energy NOS. Moving down to the mids, they had Sabo with ScanRes Script, a 500 MN Micro Warp Drive 2, Heavy Cat Booster 2, Goton's Modified Stasis Web, 2 of those, so pretty heavy web there on that. Lows rounded out with really interesting that it kind of spread it out. Damage Control 2, Armor Kinetic Hardener 2, Thermal Hardener 2, Explosive Hardener 2, a Corpus X-Type Large Armor Rep, another Armen's thing. We had Armen's Modified Heat Sink for those Mega Pulse Lasers, and Energize Adaptive Nano Membrane 2. Finally, in the rigs, they had a large anti-EM pump and 2 ancillary current routers. Obviously, they needed those current routers for the massive amounts of stuff they had there in the lows. There was a lot of large things all around, but not a lot of good that it did, because Purple Helmeted Warriors lost everything. So from the Balgorn, 2 Vindicators, Oneros, 2 Magus, 2 Daredevils, 2 Punishers, which was taken out by, in the end, Templaces, 2 Rattlesnakes, a Gila, a Stork, and a Caracal was all they had left there in the end. Yeah. Good night, Purple Helmet Warriors. Another super good match that we were looking at on that Saturday was Slice versus No Handlebar. So from what the commentators were saying, not the commentators, but the guys behind the desk, they're not commentators, hosts, they said these are 2 strong drone teams that don't need no logi. And I guess that was true, as Slice had 2 Navy Harbingers, 2 Navy Brutics, a Harbinger, 2 Brutics, non-Navy type, a Navy Augurer, a Purifier, and a Manticore. So as you can see, they're pretty much relying... Oh, Amir Dud rubbed his data sticks together and got a connection. Talking for so long, I need to drink some of this Red Bull. So anyways, yeah, so Slice had no logi to speak of. We're talking about next up is No Handlebars, Heavy Drone Boat Comp, no logi as well. Dominic, Stratios, Myrmidon times 2, Ishtar, 2 of those, double VNI, and double Vexer. You're pretty much going to see Merdud's in the birthday beers. Is it Merdud's birthday? last match. One of the last matches of the day was Hydra versus Quebec United Legions, whom I'd never heard of until the ATs. Nothing fancy there, but Hydra took that one. Obviously, Hydra is a powerhouse within the ATs. They've won it before, and they might win it again. I don't know. Last but not least, Castabouts, the wonderful Castabouts, the guys that are part of the Center for Advanced Studies, which you and I know because you listen to this show, as do I. Center for Advanced Studies is a all newbie rookie corporation, NPC corporation. I mean, obviously, Castabouts, they made that alliance just so they can have a presence within the alliance tournaments, but they mostly all belong to CAS in general, which is pretty much a big NPSI group. So those guys did a pretty good fight through the first weekend, but at the end of the second day or second weekend, they lost. Not too bad. Um, but maybe we'll see him again next year. Blah blah blah. Next up was Vidra Reloaded versus Test. Test did not do so well. Same thing that you saw on a lot of the other matches was all their entire By the way, Merdut, is my sound levels good? He's gone. Fuck that guy. So, the Stratios, as you may or may not know, is a Sisters of Eve ship, which is a Galente and Amar cruiser bonuses. They have 10% bonus to drone hit points and damage, 4% bonus to all armor resists. As a roll bonus, they have 50% bonus to medium energy turret optimal range, 37.5 bonus to core and combat. Who cares about that? You don't need that. 10 plus bonus. Who cares about analyzers and all that stuff? So, pretty good. 50% bonus, and I'm sure that's per skill level to the medium energy turret. So not only do they have a huge drone bay is 400 M3 with 100 megabit per second bandwidth. So you can pretty much have a whole flight of heavies out with that bad boy, and still have room for a couple more. Actually, four. You can have 4 heavies out there, or you could have 5 mediums, 5 lights, and still have room for, you know, a shit ton more. So, you know, if you have this guy fitted out, let's see some typical fits you may see. In fact, I should probably look up these guys' fit. I mean, but let's see, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lows, so you can fit a lot of drone damage amps on there. They got 5 mids, 5 highs, so you know you can fit some pretty good amount of stuff on there. Turret slots, there are turret slots, 4 turret slots, so you know you can do some pretty good damage on that. Moving along. So yeah, PL lost to the initiative there. Next up was Pen is out. Pen is out versus Salt Farmers. Salt Farmers lost to Pen is out. Oh, I wrote some actually really good and witty notes on here. So basically, Salt. Hold on a second. What's going on the screen? I'm not getting shot. Oh, no, I didn't. I'm just looking at the wrong one. Hello. So, Salt Farmers had a Vulture, which was another first for me. I never saw the Vulture pop up on an AT, nor did I really know what it is, so I had to go look that one up as well. Followed by Basilisk, 2 Fleet Canes, 2 Ferox, double Moa, and double Caracal. So you're seeing the Caracal pop up a lot here on this second day. I saw Moas and Feroxes pop up quite a few times. And then you got the God, I'm gonna keep saying penis because I wrote it down as penis on my notes, but Pen is out. Had a double Navy Scorpion, Basilisk, double Ferox, Stork, Harpy, and double Manticores, followed by a Nemesis. So here's some fun notes that I wrote here. Nemesis, First Blood by Salt with an arty volley from the Canes, making them the first choice for Pen is out to primary. Salt loses its first cane and trying to fight off a massive amount of drones from Penis out and loses that second cane. God, I should not have wrote penis all over here. Continuing to take a licking from Pen is out. One by one, Pen is out is hacking away, taking out both Feroxes next. Very methodical. They pretty much just picked off each ship one by one. The only thing that Pen is out lost was the Nemesis, but I mean it's a tiny little ship. What are you gonna do? Let's see. Let me find some good stuff. Laserhawks took Bright Side of Death. Waffles got waffle stomped by the Ronin. Can't blame them there, to include their flagship Balgorn. Oh, this was pretty good because the Waffles did have these Maguses that were just kind of like holding on for dear life near the end, but they finally lost them. It was a pretty nice match to watch, but nothing exciting. Shadow Cartel and Project Mayhem. This was So there's no new reviews on iTunes, but if you do have iTunes and you're downloading this show via iTunes, please, why don't you just go on there and leave us a little note of how much you enjoy or not enjoy listening to us. It's not that hard to find. You can also find us on Stitcher and Last.fm and various other ways. Google Play. Let's check this Google Play. Well, if I knew how to check it. No, we're definitely not the Curious Minds podcast. Oh, if you go to player.fm, you can find us on there. We're not the Mind Diet podcast on SoundCloud. Well, I know we're on Google Play, so find us there, leave a review there. And last time I checked, we were actually almost at about 100,000 downloads since we started. Let's see. Let us see where we are at this current moment in the space-time continuum. Nope. We have not passed the 100,000 download mark, but we're pretty close, sitting at over 95,000. And if you have not yet figured it out, if you're following our RSS stream, or if you've looked at the evepodcast.com RSS feed, you would realize that we are actually also hosting the Eve Online Station Trader podcast. That's done by Rodin, so some of our downloads can be contributed to him. Thank you very much, Rodin. You actually put out some really good stuff, and I've actually been taking some of your advice. He gives a lot of good advice about what to look at, what to sell, what to buy on the marketplace. So if you're interested in doing a little market trading, check him out, as well as his Blue Oyster Cult band, known as the was it the Blue Oyster Club or something like that. He's got another one that he does with a few other guys. I'm not exactly sure when they do that one, or if it's even still in production.